Happy day, YouTube. My name is John, and this is my channel, The Intermancer. Before I go any further, I have to do a little bit of housekeeping. First off, I apologize because the last few videos may have been confused or been published out to YouTube in a confusing order. I had too many videos that I had made but not edited, and then when I edited them, I didn't have the thumbnails, and I just got sloppy on my process. Things got out of order. I promise I won't do that again. On this video, last video, or the last thing that I did, was pretty exciting because I used the UI to run an experiment, and I had live status updates going. I think at the end of that last video, my server hung. I think I had given it too much memory for IntelliJ. I'm working with a pretty small laptop here, and so I think that it just ran out of memory and it just hung. So about the only thing I've done off camera this whole process is that I brought the IntelliJ heap down to 3 gig, and I ran an experiment and it completed successfully. I've restarted the server. So I'm going to go ahead and run an experiment here to show everybody it running. It does 1,000 cycles, so we're already halfway through. There we go. It ran to finish, and there are 2 things here to notice, or 2 things I noticed. One is, 3 things. One is that after the experiment runs, I want the status to remain on the screen so that we can see how many replacements happened. And as I add status, I've already thought of a couple of metrics that I'd like to add. As I add those status metrics, I'd like for them to stay on the screen so they can be analyzed. That's one. 2 is the status little icon here where it says no experiment running, and then it says running, and it had the updates. The updates inside of those were not necessary because they were being shown in the status panel that was showing up underneath it that I said I wanted to hang out. And 3, I know that I want to reset the repo after when I start experiment so that I can run multiple experiments. And I guess 4, I want to be able to take a certain number of the highest scoring organisms in the repo and use them to seed the next experiment. So my next target that I'm shooting for, besides those UI updates that I mentioned, is to be able to run 2 experiments where the second experiment uses the highest scoring organisms from the first experiment, assuming that they're not repeats of the original seed. Okay. I probably won't get to all that this video. This video, I'm going to try to focus just on the UI updates that I just mentioned. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. When an experiment is running, first off, let's see what it called that. Experiment view. Status section. After an experiment has completed, I want the status details section of experiment to stay on the screen. think I already had said that in the user interface. Okay, I didn't say it will go away. Currently, the experiment status details are only displayed while an experiment is running. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, so it just basically added this little or condition. Yeah. All right, so let's apply that. Now, I just ran an experiment, and as I just mentioned, I don't think that the system is optimized to rerun an experiment. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my backend server. Okay, so the server is back to running. We'll go ahead and reload the front end, do the experiment, start. And it stays. Excellent. Excellent. That's what we wanted. I would commit, but I'm also going to make this next small change to the status section. Get status display text. In experiment status view TSX, get status display text does not need to include cycles or organisms replaced, since that information is in the status details section. I could probably make this change myself, because all I really need to do is get rid of this stuff, and it doesn't need, the method doesn't need to have any data sent. Okay, it's using data status, so it does need that. So I think all it's going to do is change line 89. Good. Yeah, that's all it did. So we'll apply that. Accept all. Restart the server. That's going. reload the front end, go to experiment, start experiment. That looks good. Excellent. Excellent. So we're good. We are good. This is what I wanted to do. At a little bit over 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes, I think this is a good place for me to go ahead and commit my code. Updated some of the experiment status display behavior. The experiment status remains after an experiment completes, and the status display no longer includes metrics. Commit and push. No warnings. All right. That was excellent. That was a really quick coding session, and got everything I wanted to do done on the UI. So the next thing I will be doing is resetting, just straight up resetting the scored organism repository whenever I start an experiment. So thank you for your time.